So I know we don't talk about the weather on the show anymore.
It's hot.
But it's hot.
I don't like it, Joe.
No.
I don't like it.
It was like 60 degrees on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
It was 90 degrees the last 2 days.
That's too hot, Joe. It's only May. It's only May. Come on.
Now, I know you already had your air conditioning on and have your air conditioning on.
Yep, it's on right now as I look at it.
Right. So we don't have ours on yet.
Fools.
Well, okay. So here's the thing with that. Toward the end of the season last year, it was blowing, but it wasn't blowing cold air. And I think we had talked about this.
Right.
Maybe we did. Maybe we didn't.
You don't fix a heater right before summer, and you don't fix air conditioner right before winter because you don't need it.
Well, so, okay. We have an old unit, and they gave us a quote of what it would be to replace the entire thing.
Right.
It's a lot of money. Okay. Mm-hmm. So my brother came down, and the type of coolant that they use in ours, they don't make no more. Right.
Uh-oh.
It's like too removed from what they make. However, when they had been replacing units in the different places where my brother had been working over the last year,
right,
and they were getting rid of the old units, the ones that use the same coolant that mine uses,
right, they would siphon it off?
Yes.
Cool.
Now, cool, great. That's the plan for my brother to come down and do all that.
Mm-hmm.
But this past weekend, the people across the alley from them were victims of arson.
Oh, okay.
And
a plus for Joe somehow.
No, a negative for everyone. So the fire burned so bright and hot and for so long, it melted the fence around the back of my brother's house.
Oh, no.
Melted the fence around, just completely gone. Just, he'd gotten like one of those, like, you know the fences I'm talking about where they're like 6 feet tall and they're just like plastic?
Oh, yeah, I know.
Completely, the one that was along the entire back of his house is melted.
Right.
A portion of the side is melted. One of the quads that he had in the backyard was melted. The winter cover on his pool melted. They don't know if the liner on it is melted. All the chairs that were on his deck are melted. His deck, which was made out of treated wood, is fine. But, like, all the stuff for the pool that was on the deck is just gone. It's just, you know what I mean? And then he more than likely has to get the deck replaced because it's all just piles of melted plastic on it.
Right.
So while he's dealing with that, I'm not going to bother him about coming down and doing the air conditioning here. I'll suck it up for a couple days.
Right. No, what I thought you were going to tell me was that luckily a neighbor's house at your brother's caught fire, and now they have a new air conditioning unit that, like, do you know what I mean? It's like, because it's a fire, we have to get rid of it. Yeah. But your brother's like, that's still good. We'll just put it in your house.
No. Yeah, so my brother is preoccupied. He's indisposed. He's got bigger fish to fry, if you will.
His fence is a puddle.
Yeah. So while he's dealing with that, like I said, we'll just deal with the heat for a little bit. It's no big deal. Now, where I run into the problem is, I've been mentioning here over the last couple of weeks as we discuss things, I feel the bloat foot coming on.
Oh, no.
But with the heat, I really feel it coming on. Like, it's not bloated yet, but I got a feeling I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning because, like, today was today was a hotter day than yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I've been trying to be more active, get out and go for walks and everything else like that. While I can, while it's not raining, but I don't know. I think coupled with the heat and everything else, it's caught up to me.
Yeah, really, bloat foot is only a matter of time.
Yes,
that's the way I look at it. But, well, I hope it, it doesn't come, and if it does, it's brief, Joe. Yeah.
Same here. So how's you?
I'm good. I was out to dinner tonight with before we recorded with the young Josh we're planning our trip for the Rolling Stones in 2 days.
Oh, yes. Nice. That's right, because our May is all screwed up because of concerts and other things. And
yes, national holidays.
Yeah, allegedly.
Right. But so we went out to dinner. We went to the, Grande Pizza. I got me some rigatoni.
You love that Grande Pizza place, I tell you.
I love, but also because of Josh's weird schedule, he lives close to that. So it's better for me to drive. You know what I mean? Like, I got no life. So he's like, you want to go up there? And like, he actually picked it. So I have the text to prove it. So I was like, yeah, I'll go. So we went up there and we just planned out our day for Thursday with the ability to call an audible because this isn't the weather show, but there's a chance of rain on Thursday, and we're seeing it at Giant Stadium, which is outside.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, what do you want to do? We're probably going to go into New York to get something to eat and like bum around a little bit. But that saying, like, if we get like a lot of rain, it's like, let's just go to the stadium and see the concert. You know what I mean? Like, that's the only thing that could change. So we'll have to see. But it's going to be a warm night. But I've seen concerts, in there before at night. And even if it's like 80 during the day, like that cool East Rutherford, New Jersey breeze is going to wash over you. You know what I mean? Nothing like a New Jersey breeze, Joe.
So is it just the Stones, or who opens for the Rolling Stones these days?
He told me because as they move around from town to town, that it's changing. And I don't know. I have to look it up. He said it's the guy who wrote the Pixar movie soundtrack with Trent Reznor.
Oh, boy.
The Soul soundtrack. I don't know his name off the top of my head. I'm looking that up right now. So I don't know, and I meant to actually look up some of his music before,
I'm just surprised that the Rolling Stones at this day and age would even bother having an opening act.
Everybody has an opening act. The name of the artist is John Batiste. So I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but I've never. I mean, even with like when I saw AC/DC, like the biggest bands, they give somebody the chance to get out there. You know what I mean? It's
right.
Passing the torch as little as they could. The least amount of effort to pass that torch.
Exactly. Well, that's good. That'll be a nice busy day for you and Josh. And that's the thing, when you said young Josh, I'm like, oh, young Josh from the shop? And I'm like, nope, there's two Joshes now. There was multiple Joshes. Do you remember the other Josh that was there? The one that he went on to become a chef. We used to laugh because the Josh that's the comic art collector, he was the first Josh that worked there. And then the second Josh we called Stronger Josh. Oh, see, now when you say Stronger Josh, I remember Stronger Josh.
Yeah, and now this is Young Josh, apparently, who's the Howard the Duck fan. There's many ways to describe him. But I was talking to him, and I was like, I got to leave. I got to meet other Josh to discuss our plans to go see the Rolling Stones. I'm like, Young Josh, the Rolling Stones are a band out of England. It's like, I know who they are.
Oh, it's good to have youthful people in our lives to keep us grounded, I guess, right?
You know what? I've been told he's older than we are. He's an old soul. Like when you get in the shop tomorrow, ask Becky if young Josh is an old soul, and I guarantee you she will say yes.
Yeah. Well, we will see, because I got to wait on my car.
Yes. How's your car doing?
Did we discuss this on the show last week?
Yes, I believe we did, unless it was the $100 tier.
I can't remember. No, we did talk, again, because I don't remember if I talk about it here or if I talk about it on the wrestling show. Everything gets muddied together. Just like I'm sure, what you talk about here and what you talk about on Porch Talk gets muddled together.
All the time.
So it was, I did not get a answer from my mechanic person until Friday as to what was going on, because we did not drop it off until Thursday. So he messages me on Friday, and he's like, "It's this." Well, here, let me. I'm gonna break mechanic. What do you call it?
Confidentiality.
Yeah. So he says, ran your car, didn't stall out, but after running it for a while, the voltage started to drop. Turning everything on, the alternator was not putting out enough to mainline battery voltage, which would cause it to stall after time. The battery is new, and again, it's less than a year old, so it had enough reserve power. So he recommends a new alternator. So he says, this is on Friday, he goes, I could do it with a part with the part locally today, Friday, for $300, or I could order it online. The part will be here on Tuesday, and it'll only be $150.
I think you chose the $150 route.
I did.
Right.
So hopefully the part came in today as we record this. Hopefully, I don't know how long an alternator takes to put in.
Depends, man. You never know if the genius engineers did stupid shit on the motor.
Yeah. And then hopefully I'll have my car back on Wednesday, and I can go up and get my comics. And then, it's, April's back from her Alabama trip. I had to pick her up at the airport like 11:30 last night.
Oh. Hope she wasn't taking Boeing.
No, I forget. American Airlines, maybe?
Okay. Well, it might have been a Boeing plane. You don't want to get on those, apparently.
Or you don't want to be a Boeing executive, apparently, either.
Or a whistleblower, apparently.
Yeah. Things are going great over at Boeing.
Yeah, Boeing. Isn't it like one letter away from Boeing?
Yeah. That's the sound the sound the planes make when the parts fly off them mid-flight. Is that what you're insinuating?
Yep, pretty much.
But she and her sister flew down for our niece's wedding. They were down there the whole weekend. That's for her podcast to talk about.
I would love an April podcast.
And so whatever they chose, and because I know they booked their flight in like January, and they booked like the cheapest flight that you can get. And as someone who doesn't fly very often, I've come to learn the cheaper your flight, the more layovers there are.
Right. So she had 17 layovers.
Well, so I would say going, from here to Charlotte to Birmingham, and then from Birmingham to Charlotte and back, at each, going down, there was like a 3-hour layover, and coming home, there was like a 3.5-hour layover.
Ugh.
Right. I know when we did our trip, whether it was the one in October or the one this past February, I'm looking, obviously like time that works for us, but also which ones have the least amount of layover, because I don't like sitting around no goddamn airport.
Right. I'm trying to think of the last time I was on a plane.
Mm-hmm.
It was a year before the first Michael Bay Transformers movie came out.
That would have been like 2005, 2006, maybe?
Yeah, because that was when I went to San Diego Comic-Con.
Okay.
Was the last time I was on a plane. It was either that or Mardi Gras, because they were around the same time.
Yeah.
That's the last time. Mardi Gras was a bit of a blast from what I remember. But very dirty city. But yeah, and I remember every time I went anywhere, even to go to Mardi Gras, there was always a layover in Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the way it worked for us going out of Scranton. It was like, oh, you got to go to Cincinnati no matter what.
Yeah. I know now our little airport locally, and it is little, like having been just in the last, 6 months, 8 months, been in like big airports.
Right.
I remember when I used to think our airport was like, oh, it's a big airport, right? No.
Right.
No, it's a baby airport.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't want to fly anywhere anymore. I don't want to go anywhere anymore.
I think I'm done flying for the year unless something comes up. Summer trips are all driving trips. That's why the car is so important to have. Mm-hmm. Get repaired, that sort of thing. Are you guys driving in for the Rolling Stones, taking the bus? What are you doing?
We are we're driving in, but we're driving into just outside of New York to the train.
Right.
and then the train will take you to Penn Station, which is like Madison Square Garden kind of a deal. So we'll go into the city there. Then if we buy anything or get anything, we can bring it back on the train to the parking lot, put stuff in the car, and then there's a train that runs to Giant Stadium from there. So it's like a twofer, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that way we don't have to be driving all over and paying a ton. It's like one and done for parking, you know?
Nice.
So that'll double up on it. And then when we come back, it's the 2-hour ride home and sleep beautiful slumber on my bed. So as long as I make it back alive, because those stones, they're loud, you know?
Yeah. Weren't they killed by Mr. Burns? Is that a joke?
It is a joke.
I don't know, man. But there's one last thing. I would be remiss if I did not mention food on this podcast.
Right. Hopefully I'll have some good food stories when I come back from New York.
Yes. So I know you, Todd, for shame. When you go to Long John Silver's, you don't get the chicken.
No, I get fried clams and occasionally fish.
Yes. So this past Saturday, we were down at Knoebels all day. We were there before the park opened, and we were there after, about a half hour after the park closed.
Right.
We were 2 people, because it was like park closed at 8 o'clock. 7 o'clock, I started hawking my kid and his friend. I'm like, you guys said you wanted ice cream. If you want ice cream, it's time to go. Let's go get ice cream. One more ride. 7:30. I'm like, guys, park closed at 8 o'clock. Let's go get ice cream. One more ride. 7:45. Oh my God. I don't know if we're going to have enough time to get ice cream. And this was the thing. So, Todd, I'm sure you're surprised by this. I'm not a runner.
No, really?
Yes. So, I said to them, I go, you look in my eyes. You tell me where you're going. I repeat it back to you. That means I heard you. I know where you're going, and I'll meet you there. And they would run off, and I would take my leisurely ass time to get there, right?
Right.
So we get there, and we're in line, and the line is long for ice cream. It's the last ice cream place that's open. My kid wants like the ice cream waffle sandwich, whatever. There was a Boy Scout troop that was in front of us.
Oh, no.
And, and their person comes along and is like, all right, guys, our bus leaves at 8. We can't be waiting in line. Let's go. So, we just now move up 15 spots in line.
Yeah. Fuck the Boy Scouts.
And as we do, the guy comes up who works for Knoebels with the sign that says, this is the end of the line. Nobody else get in this line. We are closed. And it was one person behind us.
Now, was there anybody behind that person?
No.
Okay, so it was the last. I didn't know if they had to make the Sophie's choice. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's 58 people in line. We can only do 15 more, kind of a deal.
Right. So I think it was just one of those things where it's okay, it is 8 o'clock now. It's 8 o'clock now. Nobody else is allowed getting in this line. If you're in the line at 8 o'clock, we'll allow it.
Right. But
technically the park's closed. Get out. So I wanted to tell that story because that was funny with them running around the park. So typically there's certain food items that you go and you get at Knoebels. There's Facebook groups in regards to this food, that food. I can't believe they've changed the pizza. This is that. One of the best things to get there is the French fries. And the French fries are always so good because it's a shareable item. I can have some, April can have whatever. This time, I went and I decided to get their potato pancakes.
Mm-hmm.
A week or two ago, over by us, when we were going down to Hershey Park, they were setting up a little potato pancake festival. Right. And I'm like, I can go for some potato pancakes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in the line and I'm looking and I'm like, I can't get just potato pancakes. What else does this particular stand sell?
Mm-hmm.
And they sell chicken fingers. This is where we're coming around to this. Now, I've had the chicken fingers at most of the other places that you can get food at Knoebels. And when they say chicken fingers, they typically mean chicken fries. Do you know what chicken fries are?
Yep.
So that's what I was expecting here. That's not what I got, Todd.
Got big honking chunks of chicken?
I got maybe the best chicken fingers I've ever had in my life.
Wow.
They were, how sometimes when you get your piece of fish at Long John Silver's, and it's got like it's connected, but it's like the big, giant, hard, crusty piece.
Mm-hmm.
All 3 of the chicken fingers that I had were like 80% chicken, and then 20% like a big, crusty like handle on it.
Right.
Oh, Todd, they were so good. It's worth the drive. I don't know where you are. I know people in the Discord were lamenting, like, oh, what ride should I go on at Knoebels? I don't know nothing about no rides. You want the best chicken fingers in the world? Go to the potato pancake stand.
You're right. I will say one thing. I will just go against you on one thing. French fries are not shareable.
Say that again?
French fries are not shareable.
Oh.
If I buy French fries, I don't know. There's a law that says they're not shareable. So, but and I you know what? As I get older, I'm not a ride guy, but I've always wanted to steal one of those gas-powered Model T cars that they have at Knoebels.
Yeah,
and bring one home. That's my ultimate goal: is to get one of those cars over the rail that they straddle.
Yeah,
and in the back of my truck and take it home. But I love those.
Next time, I'll scope it out for you. I'll see how lax the security is.
Right. All you need is like a bar to get it out over the hump and then just drive it out into the parking lot. I don't think any of the humps there would even notice that I was doing it.
Probably not.
No. They're all too busy gourding themselves on chicken fingers.
If they're smart, they would be.
Yep.
All right. So I think that was enough show.
I think that was enough show also.
All right. We mentioned the Patreon, patreon.com/longboxheroes.
Mm-hmm.
Patreon sent me a questionnaire to do.
Ooh.
They're really pushing their like chat with your patrons option.
Sure, you do that, Joe.
And once I got to page 3 of their questions, I'm like, all right, I'm done.
Oh.
I was trying to be helpful. I was trying to improve the Patreon experience, but
yeah.
My time
and
is
how
valuable.
You improve the Patreon experience? Get more followers.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
All right, everybody. Thank you very much. This was episode 496 of Longbox Heroes After Dark. Yeah, and we'll go sign up for the Patreon. Maybe you'll listen to this early. You're one of the good ones. Not to say that everybody else isn't good, but you're like one of the better ones. Yeah. See you next week, everybody.
You're listening to the soon-to-be-named network, the Lamborghini of podcast networks.